Over the last few months, I've been doing some more research on physical card collecting, and because Hero are releasing their first ever hybrid with the digital of NFTs as well as the physical cards, I wanted to understand more about keeping some of the packs sealed over sort of opening all the packs, trying to make your profit from there if that is your aim. So in this video, we're going to discuss some things about packs in general, if we're keeping them sealed, if that's the best move forward, what should we do, and what sort of period of time should we be looking at if we are looking to make a return. So let's get started. Welcome in everyone, my name's Andy and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come watch this video on the channel. Just before we get going, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support me further, you can hit a subscribe button, and if you want to support me further than that, you can join the membership. I am of course not the most knowledgeable when it comes to this space, so I had to do a little bit more digging, and you can see from all of my lovely tabs that we've definitely found some things to hopefully give us a better conclusion of what we should be looking for when it comes to this. Let's give a little bit further about what we're actually going to be getting with this Hero hybrid set, what we should sort of be expecting moving forward. The set originally is going to have 6 million total cards, and there's going to be no reprints at all. They've already confirmed this is going to be the case, so once all of them are sold, that's it. This is going to be releasing in 4 countries as of now: the UK, US, Brazil, and India. And they've also confirmed that there's going to be 6 chapters, I believe, of hybrid sets working with DC and Hero to bring this hybrid sort of collection together. So to me, there's a few really good points there. And from some of the Pokemon collectors who have been in this space for the years on end that I have talked to when it came to it, have shown that obviously with the 6 million cards being there, we never have an idea of how many they're going to print with the likes of Pokemon cards. And also there's often reprints with Pokemon cards that happen and can devalue everything back to their original prices. So with this being no more reprints, that's actually a really good start for what we're having. What I was also thinking as well is that only being released in 4 countries to start with, and most likely once we get to chapter 4, 5, and 6, we're probably going to have more regions a part of that. We're probably going to have more of Europe, South America, Australia, Canada. We're probably going to have a lot more places available to actually get these, which in turn will probably make chapter 1 more valuable in itself, purely because if someone is looking to get the first of what it is, then it is there and available, but it was only available originally in these countries. If there's someone in Europe who didn't have the chance to get into chapter 1, or there's someone in Canada who really wanted to get involved but couldn't in chapter 1 because they couldn't get it delivered unless it was their third-party service, then prices like this will most likely help it go up because they didn't have access to it in the beginning. With things like Pokemon, more often or not, a lot of the world can already get access to these no matter where you are. So although it's going to be challenging for some people, I think this actually helps the price. The market, of course, for Hero right now is a lot smaller than the likes of baseball cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I think it is interesting to at least give comparison in general to what sort of first things do or early sets do when it comes to base sets or just in general packs for them, because it gives us a deeper and better understanding of what's going on. I happened upon Twice Baked videos talking a little bit about sort of the growth of Pokemon, what it is. And originally he did speak about sealed cards. Should you have them sealed? Should you not? And he was saying that more often or not over time, the packs that you're keeping sealed will grow in value. That's just the way it is. And he says over the next 5 and 10 years, Pokemon is still looking to thrive, and he doesn't believe it's reached its all-time high. So with the hobby of people collecting more cards again, and with cryptocurrency becoming more and more popular, as well as NFTs with more people dabbling into them, this could be a really good opportunity for people to get a sort of establishment of what NFTs are, why they can be used for more than just a profile picture, and they can actually be used to gamify stuff, and just introduce people to this world with a brand that they already know and love, being DC. He'd also said in this second video talking about Evolving Skies, which is one of the sets that was actually released only a year or so ago, but I was looking at the prices of Evolving Skies and what it was been, and it was saying in the last year or so it's starting at around 174, peaking about 189, going all the way down to about 110, and again is up to about 182, close enough to a year later or so. So we have seen that even already prices for stuff that has been released and was quite successful is actually increasing in price and has sought its fluctuations for what it is. It seems like there's going to be less and less of these on the market, but again, with stuff like Pokemon, we don't actually know what they choose to reprint or not. So that will only happen further along the line. Become popular, they can reprint some of the things there. With Hero, that's just not going to be the case. Just to show though, when it came to what I was looking at in terms of pricing rising and time span of doing so. I was looking at Shining Legends. Shining Legends was something that I know a lot of people were talking about when it came to YouTubers, and I was doing a lot of research on Pokemon, but the price of these booster box has went from about $367 and is sitting right now about $289. Now, I think this box will do really, really well over the long run, but what I am saying is that if you are planning on keeping the hero boxes sealed, you might have to keep them for longer periods of time than you may hope for. So if your plan is to keep them sealed, I would probably say it's more of like a 3 to 10 year span that you're wanting to do, maybe even longer than that, before you're truly seeing the returns that you might be looking for. And again, this is making sure to keep them in good condition. This is to understand how to do that, and then also that there are going to be buyers in the future when it comes to that. So you're sort of betting on a company being successful a decade worth. Of course, when it comes to something like Pokemon, it's a little bit different. It's a lot more established. It's one of the biggest brands in the world, and that's why it's a harder comparison when it comes to it. There was also a really interesting thing that I saw on Reddit, and it was someone just asking about if I hold sealed boxes on Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Prism. Also said they had a few with the Team Magma versus Team Aqua. Also talking about a 5 to 10 year hold for the sealed booster boxes, not buying and selling right now. And all the people in the comments were obviously saying about Pokemon should never be your financial investment. You should never do that. That shouldn't be something that you want to do. I had a little look at what these were going for, and if we do say that they were released maybe 4 years or so ago, that's when they got them, you're thinking retail of the boxes, maybe talking about $120, $130, might be a little bit more. But I did have a little bit of a look around, and I found that on the card market, the last sale, around €1,500. Only one that's up for sale right now is 5,000. And on eBay, I found actually that the Team Magma versus Team Aqua pack, a pack of 9 cards, was the lowest price of $260 plus an additional cost. If I search up these packs as well, you can see that the sealed pack, $202, $252. So you are kind of looking at, if you manage to pick these up, and if you did buy them 3 or 4 years ago, the prices of these are significantly higher. Now again, this does come down to the popularity of the cards, what they sort of are, what cards are held within these packs, how important or significant these are going to be in the future. When having a look at sort of base set sealed collectible cards, I'd found obviously a lot of these were extremely expensive. You know, you have your 12.5 grand, you've got the 62 watching that, so you're obviously thinking that people are genuinely watching this. They're wanting to see if they can get it. Now this is a factory sealed 1999 Pokemon base set for £12,650, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But they are there to be purchased, and they are very expensive. 13,000 there, you've got a few of the booster boxes that are really, really expensive. So it is one of those things where over time, especially if they become popular and there's buyers and collectors and really people who want to get the first of the first is usually the most expensive. We've looked at the likes of comic books, we've looked at cards before, especially when we're comparing it to Vivi and how important the firsts of things are. So seeing the first of these things being released as a hybrid set too, alongside the sort of trading card, physical sort of collectible stuff, this can show and indicate that if they are successful over the next few chapters, they continuously bring in more people over the time, then these sealed boxes will be good. Let's have a look a little bit further at maybe some other brands and some other things that you can maybe compare it to, just to see if we can get a better understanding. Again, I know Heroes just started, so it's one of those things that's quite challenging to do, but I think this is good to know and just understand a little bit more about your investment, if this is an investment for you, how you can maybe take advantage of that in the best way, what you should maybe be thinking about. We can see here that a Yu-Gi-Oh! Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon booster set actually sold for $584,000, which was a new record, and that was from 2002. Now, the first ones were actually released in 1999 for Yu-Gi-Oh! This wasn't the first set ever, but it was the first US release of the card game's first set, and it was named obviously after the iconic monster. This was the first one that had the full set of the Exodia with all 5 cards, and it did actually happen to sell for $584,000. Now again, just that first set and that first thing is something to pay attention to. The issue is, when it comes to investors, is that the base sets for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically come in at 20 years for that sort of stuff. We've passed that with Pokemon, and we have passed it now with Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of just original release, but US release 2002, we are at the 20-year mark. So you have to think about, if you are actually going to hold these, you're having to hold them in good condition for the next 2 decades. If you're looking to obviously potentially see a massive increase in price from the original purchasing price that you actually got it at. We go on to a few other blogs, a few other places that have spoken about it. This was from PSA Card with a blog with Matt Edmond, where he discussed the sort of unopened product dilemma: open with caution or store with safety. He was obviously talking about the baseball cards from like 1960s, 1980s, what you should maybe do with it, why it could be important. He said that I would definitely keep the pack unopened and not opened if the card grading is a vintage pre-1975. And he said modern stuff, if you're feeling lucky, then you have a better chance of pulling a key card in a high grade. And then there's essentially two roads when it comes to open packs. You can obviously press your luck by opening the sealed packs in boxes of search for the key cards that are in those, or you actually keep them sealed. So he is saying when it comes to, you know, like the basketball cards or the early baseball cards, if you are really finding those early winners that are in these packs, you might be better just to keep them unopened. But of course, you can take that risk, you can go for it, you can open them. And it's just like Hero, where there's mythic cards in there. You can take that risk to open them, and there's obviously an opportunity. And we saw that with the digital set already, where the packs peaked at like $900 because the likes of the Batman and the Riddler were going for $10,000+. So that risk reward can be worth it for a lot of people, and therefore the packs sit within those regions. And this one updated in June of 2020, this person was talking about the Black Lotus card from MTG in my local game store selling for $300 back in 1996. And obviously $300 for a card is still a pretty crazy number, but in 2017 someone paid $100,000 for a perfect 10 graded and $62,000 for a PSA 9. Now obviously with Pokemon you've got kind of a similar situation where booster packs were selling for $329 each, and the booster box base set was around $118. Now of course when we're talking in the 2020 craze for Pokemon, some of these sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you saw that the first edition 1999 at $60,000 on eBay, receiving over 64 bids in the process. Of course, these things are going down in price a little bit at the moment. I think there was a craze, a massive craze in 2020, kind of started to go down, and then now we're sort of maybe base level of what we're sitting at anyway. But it is interesting to see that these sort of unopened boxes, upwards of a few $1,000s, after being able to purchase them for a few hundred when they were first released. It's of course about the time dedication that you're willing to hold these for, and betting on their success over the long run that can be the case with this. Because as you can see, this was 2002, this was 2001, 1999, 2003. That's a long time people are holding them for before they're seeing the returns they're maybe looking for. There's another interesting one from Sports Collectors Daily, kind of rounded up their post about everything they were talking about. But they said, choose boxes of cards which are issued in limited quantities. Choose boxes for years where there's an exceptional rookie class. The possibility of a rookie start in an unopened pack is a good selling feature. The better a particular rookie performs, the more cards you'll be worth. Buy unopened boxes of higher end cards. They are more apt to increase in value than a Topps base set. Now there's two things I kind of want to point out with that. Choose a box of cards which are issued in limited quantities. 6 million cards, that's it. There's going to be no more reprints. In a sense, that is a limited quantity, even though there probably are quite a lot more than people would want or would expect. With being those 4 countries and then hopefully expanding to the world over the next few years, that could become a limited quantity. And again, we don't usually have the quantities that the likes of Pokemon release when it comes to their sets, so we don't really have specifically good comparisons when it comes to what is a high quantity and what isn't. But I'm sure Colex, who have been doing this for years on end, probably know a good sort of base level to create the supply and demand that will work for them. Now again, what I want to speak on that part is the supply and demand era. People are brought to supply and demand, so people are always honed into supply and demand. The more demand there is, and the less supply there is, the more something's probably going to cost. So once these sealed boxes leave, they are going to become more popular. Now also, the other addition I want to add on to this is they have said that the pre-orders from the UK and the US are going to get something involved in their pre-order boxes. We don't know what that is just yet, but if you are someone who is really willing to hold over the long run, you have a pre-ordered box that is you're going to get whatever special edition that is going to come with, and you could potentially hold that off and has even more value because it has an extra feature added onto it. And again, the quantity of those will be a lot lower because there was only 1 million of the total 6 million supply that was given out for pre-orders themselves, and they sold out. And this final one we're going to look at, it's talking about how much time should I wait before reselling sealed Pokemon packs and boxes. And in case your business model is based on flipping, you can buy a number of sealed boxes for a cheap price and try reselling them to the retail market. And on the other hand, sealed Pokemon packs, you should consider to store store them for a few years to get the high return on investment. Just wanted to make that apparent that it is years on end that you're looking to hold these for. It's not something where it's like the quick flip, you're looking for the next day sort of thing. And I know if you're into the NFT space, you're probably thinking the next day is when you should get your money, but it's just not the reality of the situation. If you believe in the long-term success of Hero, Colex, what they're sort of building towards, these 6 chapters are going to come along, then potentially keeping one of these boxes sealed from your pre-order, or if you manage to get something at retail, might actually be a good thing. The Hero Discord has grown to near enough 10,000 users in the last couple of weeks, and nothing has really been released yet. We've had the first digital pack. There's not been too much marketing done on their front end, but it has been interesting to see what's been going on and what they actually have been doing. So over the long run, if you believe in the success of this company, I would recommend potentially keeping maybe one of your boxes sealed, just storing that away, keeping it in a safe place, and seeing what it could turn out as. It might not be successful at all, it might just be something to open in the future and have fun with, or it might be something incredible where the first edition of this chapter could bring a new era to what DC card collecting actually is. DC cards have never really done incredible in the past. They're not sort of like Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but who knows, this might be a time where new collectors come into this space and they really start to adopt what DC card collecting is, and especially with Colex backing them and having a few things on the sidelines that could potentially boost the worth of these cards, then it will be interesting. It also said in some of these articles to look for sort of things that have significance. So rookie players if you were looking at baseball or basketball cards. And some of the cards in the set for this hybrid version are quite significant. We have Detective Comics with the first appearance of Robin, we have first appearance Flash as the comic cover, and we also have Action Comics 1's comic cover, which is the most expensive comic book in the world currently. Having these sort of significant plays as first ever appearance on the blockchain could potentially, again, add some weight to the investment class that these are and the potential cost of what these could be. Of course, there's quite a few editions of these and they aren't the most rare in the world, but when you come to the mythics with the Joker, Wonder Woman and Batman, they do start to add up in the rarity of that. And with the addition of being able to scan them for NFTs, keeping those sealed as well, sort of add to the price point of what these could be pulled for. Because if you're selling the card with the NFT version as well, unscanned, don't actually know if that will even increase the price of that further. Unscanned card be a new terminology that we start to hear over the next few years. Could be something that we could use to increase the price of the cards if we are selling them. I'd love to hear your thoughts further on the sealed packs themselves. Are you planning on keeping some of your hero packs sealed, or are you just opening them all because you can't wait for what's to come? I'd love for you to let me know down below. I know the video on the screen right now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.